Hello, welcome back to One to the Force, a Star Wars podcast. And yes, it is on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday, but there's a specific reason for that we'll get onto later. I'm Phil, of course. I'm joined as usual with absent. This time it's Dave, not George. George is here, and Dave is the absent one. Good evening, mate.
How are you?
Yeah, very good. Ready to chat some more Star Wars and preview a certain film coming out tomorrow?
Yes. If anyone doesn't know, Solo: A Star Wars Story comes out technically one day in 2 hours over here in England, and 2 days and 3 hours in America. So that's happening this week, and they've actually dropped quite a big bit of news as well. Little pieces here and there across the last 13 days.
Indeed. Should we get on to the probably our favourite and our biggest bit of news?
Yes.
First, might as well crack on with it. Something that we've been looking forward to, something that's special to One to the Force. Star Wars Celebration of 2019 has been announced, and it's in Chicago, Illinois, from April 11th through 15th. Tickets on sale June the 5th. Now, George, I know you've already got flights and hotel. I've got hotel, haven't got flight check because I'm waiting to see on reservations, but Dave, the moment, won't be able to go, but we will all try and be there.
Yeah, it's given that they didn't do one last year, and we all not last year. No, they didn't do one this year, and we all missed out last year. It was the point of, regardless of what happens, I'm not missing it next year. I can't afford to miss it this time. And the whole world was shocked that it's in Chicago. For anybody that's confused, why would they be shocked it's in Chicago? That's a big place. Everyone knows it. It's a big location. They're doing a celebration there because the entire world thought that the Star Wars Land would open with it. And it's not a complaint. I'm not complaining at all. I absolutely love the fact it's in Chicago. If anything, it's going to save me hundreds more by not being in LA. So that happened. And what the rumors are now is that D23 will see the launch of the Star Wars lands. And there may be more details on that this weekend when we get to that. But yes, celebration April 11th to 15th. No ideas on ticket prices yet. You can probably assume it's anything between like $150 and $250. Given that it is 5 days next year, I think that's something worth mentioning. Last year was 4 days, and the extra day was down to the fact that the 40th anniversary panel. Next year they're going all out 5 days, so they've clearly got some big things.
3 because they stiff the UK.
Yeah, they don't really care about us, let's be honest. And I can understand why there wasn't a celebration this year after Solo. There's no event that warrants a convention this year for Star Wars.
No, because we haven't got anything from episode 9 either, because that's out next Christmas. So there was no preview as such. And these days, celebration, as much as it's used to celebrate Star Wars, as it's in the title, it's also there to promote their latest and greatest things. And considering the debacle we've had with Battlefront 2, the drama surrounding Solo, it's probably a good idea for them to have this year off, come back next year and kind of hit it hard with the previews for episode 9. By that point, you're talking. Yes, this year is the. No, not wrong there for a second. Yes, 35th anniversary of Return of the Jedi this year is the only thing worth celebrating.
And
next year you've got a lot more to do.
I know it's the 35th year of Return of the Jedi as well, but everyone was so hyped on the 40th Star Wars last year, it would feel a bit cheap to do another year marketing another film. I'm sure I've seen the logo. There are like 1 or 2 really small tidbits of merchandise they have done. But
I do want the Vader they've done.
They've done a Vader, and I was at the Disney shop earlier, and there was a Wicket with the Jedi 35th anniversary on. So that was bizarre, but there wasn't enough this year. Whereas next year, already looking ahead, the fact that there's going to be episode 9. There's going to be the Star Wars Resistance show. Maybe if they do a second season, we don't know yet. We don't even know if it's going to be 1 season. There's going to be that. There's going to be the Jon Favreau TV series, which we've got a little bit of news for later on. There will be a Battlefront 3 if EA want to really take to the stage and do some talking. Whether it's talking or more of like a court case, we don't know. Of course,
whether people can hear them over the booze, that would be a different question.
Yeah, and they'll have to preview the inevitable next spin-off film in 2020. Is there going to be a Ewan McGregor in attendance? Whoever knows. But next year, I could see, and I think I spoke to you. I don't know if I spoke to you guys off camera about the fact that it could be one of the most important celebrations. And I've said to a lot of people that Phase 1 of Disney owning Star Wars to me ends of Episode 9.
Yeah,
everything's going to kickstart this new era, the new TV shows, the new platforms, the new franchise spin-offs. Everything, I think, post 2020 is going to be like Disney's almost phase 2. And I think they'll be announcing and previewing a lot of things next year, as well as the usual stuff. I mean, it's in Chicago. It's a nice place to go to. I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff going on, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of guests. I'm sure Felicity Jones will be there for $250 as well. There's going to be a lot of things to do.
Oh, wait for the rats to return, people. We will return with our rats at prices that someone will inevitably pay.
I'm just happy it's 5 days because it's just going to make everything easier when you're trying to look around, get your autographs, and get to panels. I mean, okay, we don't really need 5 days, but I want 5 days. I'll take 5 days. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, agreed. It's 5 days is awesome. Don't get me wrong. We don't need 5 days, but at the same time, what it gives you is the opportunity to look around day one, decide what you want to go and see. You know what panels you're going to know in advance. They'll give you the schedule. You'll know what ones you want to go and see. But it gives you the opportunity to plan it out and see everything you want to see. I mean, when we went to 2016, there was only 3 days. It almost felt like you didn't have enough time to do everything. I know personally I wanted to do the ILM XLab experience, and I didn't have time to do it. And with the fact you do spend an inordinate amount of time queuing the panels, so you're talking on average, we'll queue in about 3 hours a day during the day to go and see these panels. I'm not talking about the overnight bits there. I'm talking you'd go get queue early to get your good seat. So when you take that into account, you do lose 6 to 9 hours over the course of those 3 days. Spread out over 5 days, it's a little easier to go, okay, well, I want to see this, I didn't see it today, but I have the opportunity in the next 3 days or whatever it is to go and see it. So at least that gives you that more opportunity. And yeah, Chicago should be quite fun. I mean, I will personally probably go and see a basketball game just because I'm a sports fan. I don't like the Chicago Bulls, but I'll go and see it just for the experience. Go, experiment some food, see what they take. It's going to be a nice place to go and visit. But yes, we are there primarily for Star Wars, and we will do some sort of show when we're out there live. If you can join us, it'd be great. If not, well, it will just be his on the ground reports, as it were.
Yeah, it's going to be almost phones and stuff like that. Like I've never been to America. I think that's one thing worth saying. So I don't know how exactly the O2 internet tariff is going to work over there, or if I'm going to get shot in the street. It's going to be very interesting.
The convention centres usually have Wi-Fi, mate. I mean, I've been to the States a couple of times. Their facilities are usually pretty good, pretty up to date. So if their infrastructure is good and we can get the Wi-Fi, I mean, even the hotels, we're doing something. We will be doing some sort of reporting from somewhere. Yeah. We may get shot. That's besides the point.
But it'll be good to get everything covered. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be impossible to get to every panel. Yeah. But as long as the main stuff's covered, that's what we'll have stuff happening anyway, like we did last year, even if we're not there. But
they can pick up the slack as well. It'll be fine.
I'm sure he'll be watching at home, just traumatized, like, oh my god, what's happened?
Yeah.
But it will be fun, and now it's just about sort of evaporating my social life and saving up. So no more pops. And with that, he says this. The Star Wars ones are gone. It's just the Infinity War ones now, which are almost done. Which is, I guess, the fact that the Star Wars ones don't end, but the Infinity War ones will. That's the big difference.
The irony there that something that's infinite will be ending.
Oh, also true. Until they call it Infinity War Part 2, and then everyone's like triggered and crying.
Yeah, and then you buy more pops.
Also true. Change the artwork, then I won't buy them. They know the deal. Right. I say moving on. Yep. So we kind of hinted that everyone thought this was going to open with the Star Wars lands, and we don't know that yet. So, and then basically, there's a big event happening on Saturday night in one of the Disney parks in America. It's going to be a Star Wars Galactic Night, and obviously they're only doing one night because it's going to time the launch of the Solo film. And what they've now announced is that they're going to be releasing a Galaxy's Edge panel. They're going to give out some more details, quote surprises, and much more about the theme park. So there's speculation now that they might release the release dates, especially now that the Celebration date's out there. Everyone knows it probably won't be ready for then. So there's talk of D23 or later on in 2019. So maybe on Saturday night we'll have the answer.
It is probably why the announcement of Celebration has come as late as usually it takes place around April. We're late May now. And yeah, it is purely because we all figured that it would be Galaxy's Edge that would host it, and if it's not going to be ready in time, they would probably have a backup, and that backup is probably what Chicago is now. So at least we now get more details and hope. We'll bring them to you on after the panel. which as George said, is taking place this Saturday, on the 27th. I mean, don't get me wrong, we want to go to Celebration, we really do, but the bank will also be broken again because we all want to go to Galaxy's Edge. We guarantee that. However, at least the opening event would be cool, but we can go at any point in time. Celebration is at least, unfortunately, a fixed point in time, so we will make it at some point. I guarantee it. Yes, but more news though. We've had on Jon Favreau's TV show. Now, this is what I'm actually really, really looking forward to because it takes place between episode 6 and episode 7. Now, that part has been guaranteed. That part has been confirmed. The actual time space afterwards and where it's going to be set has been up in the air. Now, it was reportedly 7, but it's been clarified as being 3. Am I right, George? I mean, again, you were one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the red carpet of Solo 2 weeks ago, this Thursday, Jon Favreau was there, and for some reason, only one person asked him about his Star Wars TV series, and he said that. He did not say that, but it was reported by this company that Jon Favreau told them is going to take place 7 years after the Battle of Endor. So the entire Star Wars internet is saying 7 years after Endor, and then when they actually uploaded the video the next day, he actually said it's 7 years after the Battle of Yavin.
So 3 years after Endor.
3 years after Endor, but it's also discredited this stupid website for running with that other story because Yavin does not sound like Endor. And for them to be tweeting all that stuff straight away without even looking at their own video, that's actually quite embarrassing for them. But it's very interesting that he's been allowed to give that information away. But at the end of the day, it's just a date, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it gives fans something to look forward to, though, as well. It gives them a talking point. It doesn't spoil anything much, but it gives them a talking point. So I can see why they allow that specific bit of information to leak out. And what it does leave us with is maybe a time with Resistance, but that we reckon will be previewing on the Disney/Star Wars app coming out next year, whereas Resistance, of course, is starting this autumn, or it's fall as the Americans call it. As that will give us something to tide over. So you'll have Solo, then you'll have Resistance, then you'll have this particular TV show, second season Resistance, plus the films, plus probably Clone Wars and Rebels all in the app, and then you'll have, you can go forward from that, you'll have episode 9 and so on and so forth. I'm very much looking forward to this. As I said, between it and Resistance, it is so much scope between 6 and 7. You've got 30 years to play with. That's so much for so many untold stories within that space.
Yeah, and I think it's nice that they're going to open the new door. Because I assumed it was going to be set between 3 and 4 purely because that's what they've been going for recently. But I think if they're going to say it's going to be between 6 and 7, then there is a chance that now that they've got 9, well, I'm assuming the script is finished now or is thereabouts on the second or third draft. They now know what they can play with outside from the films and what they can start doing. So I wonder if Disney now going to ramp up what happens between 6 and 7, start giving away more info, more series and stuff. So it's great.
I didn't think they'd go between 3 or 4 months, only because you had Rebels sat in between there. You've got the comics. The gaps between 1 and 6 are pretty much filled. You have episode 1, episode 2. You have the Clone Wars TV show, which is a fantastic series if you watched it. Episode 3. You then have Rebels, Rogue One. Solo will fit in that gap somewhere. We'll find out tomorrow. 4, 5, and 6. That's a pretty decent chunk. But now Resistance and this new TV show gives you that gap between 7, 8, and 9. So that will fill up the saga. And of course, with Rian Johnson's trilogy, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff series, you will have a new side of the universe where they can plug in another TV show, potentially either animated or live action, and they'll start to fill out their own gaps there. Whereas the saga gaps, as it will be, almost complete.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do because they are going to fill it, aren't they? I mean, over the coming years, it will be filled. But Rian Johnson's, again, next year we'll find out stuff, maybe, hopefully. But I think that's not going to be even in the current time. I think that's going to be something else entirely. And I wonder if Disney will look at, or maybe they'll start a new era elsewhere and then build within that.
Build around that, yeah.
It could be very interesting to see what their future plans are for the franchise. But the Jon Favreau series is a great way of doing that.
yeah, it's baby steps in terms. It's a great way of expanding new stories within the current franchise, within the current timescale. And what they can go forward from that is see, we have stories within the lore, we have stories in the old EU, like the old Sith Empire, you have Darth Bane's story, which he's canon, but yet his story's been untold, Darth Plagueis. You have all of that pre-Episode 1, but you also have this, it's a giant galaxy. You know, you could have an entire series set in the Outer Rim. That's nothing to do with the original saga whatsoever in terms of its timeline. There's still so many stories. There's like the cartels, you have the Hutt cartel, you have the Black Sun, you have Sugi, you have so much there to tell that you could do an entire series just on the Outer Rim. You have, yeah, the Rise of the First Order, which we'll have in this, but there is so much breadth to it that this would be a good stepping stone for that to see how they can want and how they want to expand it.
Definitely.
However, we might as well go back to our solo news. We do have more coming up with the fact that one of the best videos ever has surfaced with Harrison Ford surprising Alden Ehrenreich during his interview. I mean, as soon as you put that, I split my sides laughing. I've watched it 7 or 8 times. I know other people watch it more than that, just because it's brilliant with Han. It is Han coming, going, "Get out of my seat, get out of my life."
I was sat there wondering how much did they have to pay Harrison to come to this one video. That's what I was thinking. It's a really nice video. In all honesty, I was surprised he wasn't at the premiere, but I heard online that with the premiere, they didn't not want him there. But I don't know. It sounds nasty to say. They want him to keep a distance, but not out of disrespect, but out of the fact that it's a solo film and
it will detract from.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a hard one. You know why, but it's a. Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you had Donald Glover with Billy D. Williams in matching red suits on the carpet, which was the greatest image I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That had to be planned. That was amazing. That's an even better image of them two going out for dinner like a year ago. But yeah, it's a nice video. It's a nice bit of viral marketing as well, because people go around like, oh, look, there is actually a solo film coming out. But I mean, with Harrison, like now he's dead from Star Wars, he absolutely loves it. Not the conventions, obviously, but he's finally got his wish, and I think that's actually helped him out quite a lot. Now he's just getting rid of Blade Runner and Indiana Jones in the process.
Yeah. Well, then he got Indiana Jones to go, and he's done.
Exactly. It's going to be terrifying. We'll see what he wants him to do. I hope he doesn't melt his face off like the first one.
Sure.
We have some more Lando-ish news. So, there was rumors.
This was an interesting 24 hours.
This was bizarre. So at the premiere, so it was the European premiere. Was it this week? It was last week,
Last week.
And they were all at Cannes, the cast and crew. And obviously, for those that don't know where Cannes is, it's kind of like the French, Italian Monaco with border bits all together.
It's in the French Riviera, yeah.
Yeah, very posh, very rich people, and Solo was there. And a French publisher did an interview with Kathleen Kennedy, and they come out and said that Kathleen Kennedy said that the next Star Wars film is going to be a Lando film, not Chewie or Han. It's going to be a Lando film. And there was not uproar, but there was everywhere. Oh my God, the next one's a Lando film. People were going mad. Where's Obi-Wan film? Everyone talking about Lando. Literally about 3 hours later, Lucasfilm contacted this French company and made them send out a message. And Lucasfilm told them that they'll only do a Lando film when it's relevant to do a Lando film. And they also said that they got the translation wrong. So you don't know, that's a company just trying to cash in and try and get a bit of news going viral and misquoting Kathleen Kennedy and probably losing their Lucasfilm press credentials.
Most likely, yeah, I doubt that particular reporter will be covering a Star Wars event again. However, it was interesting to see because although, yes, everyone wants an Obi-Wan film, myself included, I would be totally all right with Donald Glover doing a solo Lando film. I really would.
I honestly would as well. It just depends. It depends where and when they want to release and the story that they can do with it. The biggest Lando story is his rise to, not his rise to power, but we know that he has to use the Falcon. That's going to clearly be covered in this film. So now we don't know the ending, but there's going to be a gap from him getting to Bespin. Is it really want to be covered in a film? I don't know, but I think at the end of the day, they're going to wait to see the reaction to Solo, the box office numbers.
This
like
is
that.
true. We also have the comic coming out as well, so it's going to be interesting to see his story surrounding that. But I would totally be alright with them doing a Lando film, Donald Glover. And that's just coming from the trailers. That's nothing to do with the film. He has been sold to me purely on those trailers. He has just look at his demeanor, the way he speaks, the way he carries himself. He's completely nailed that character, and that's just from these few trailers we've seen.
Yeah, and I think, and they all know that he's the selling point of the film now, don't they? The merch is primarily focused on him. Everything is focused on him. He's even smarter. He's released, obviously, This Is America in timing with the release of this film. He's released the last episode of his very highly rated TV show around the release of this film. So Donald Glover's put himself into a position now where he is absolutely head and shoulders above the rest in audience perception, fan perception. And that's basically the Lando film. They know people want more from him, and they will have the chance to do him. He's probably on multiple contract deals like Alden Ehrenreich, so it'll be very interesting to see what their plans are with him in the future. I don't believe for a minute that they're doing a film. I don't think the film would be prioritized above an Obi-Wan film, so I was quite shocked when they did first. This news did break, and I was convinced that it would have been Kathleen Kennedy being misquoted, and it did turn out to be Kathleen Kennedy misquoted, so that's what I thought of that bit of news with the Lando story. Maybe they'll do it in the future. I honestly doubt it. I think Donald Glover's probably under contracts. Maybe the TV series, who knows? But I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah, I doubt he'll get that opportunity. But if they did, I would be totally okay with it. Although speaking of Lando, we do have a bit of news regarding Lando, but it's something that I don't really care for. But it's something
I'll cover it. So there's a big article going around this week. Lando's a pansexual. They would confirm Lando's a pansexual. For a start, no one really cares about this news. It's a non-story, and I actually read it, obviously, for this. And at the press junket, a journalist went to Lawrence Kasdan and goes, "Is Lando pansexual?" Lawrence Kasdan's probably half confused at the question, and they just said yes. There's the answer, and that's now a clickbait story everywhere. It's a non-story. If they want to develop that, that's cool, but the fact a journalist asked it, it's just why on earth did that need to be asked at a Star Wars premiere? I don't know. It's irrelevant news. That's the way I see it.
It's not particularly important to any storyline or any.
Yeah, they don't need to make a film politically correct. It doesn't have to be politically. Well, no, that's getting into dangerous territory. Bring the PC, but basically, the character's been written the way the character's been written. They can say yes or no to anything. If they'd have said no, then there would have been outcry that Lucasfilm are massive homophobes and other nasty things. So, of course, he's going to say yes. He's asked on the spot. It's a stupid question. There's no bearing on the film coming out in 2 days.
No, it doesn't. It's not relevant to the story, and it's not really. Yeah, it's not relevant. If the character is, the character is. It doesn't really matter. I mean, Star Wars universe is one of the least judging, so it's fine. But we might as well move on from the news because that's all we really have this evening. Not a very particularly big news week prior to the celebration announcement, just because of the solo films coming out this week. That's what everything's geared towards. So yes, again, but although to be fair, on a solo news front in Star Wars, we do have the new Beckett comic, which you managed to pull up just before we came on air this evening.
Yeah, it was announced today that there's going to be a one-shot Beckett comic coming out in August time. It's going to be a 40-page prequel. By the prequel, they mean just about the character's origin or directly before the events of Solo. We don't know yet, but that's been announced today. And to be fair, I mean, they did it with DJ for episode 8.
They did. I read most wanted. It's actually not bad. It does give you a little extra character.
It's kind of, I wouldn't say it's expected in that way, but we were going to get more content, and it's good to see they are sticking with some of the characters from the Solo film, especially the fact that Woody Harrelson's amazing. Even though it's a comic, it's still Woody Harrelson.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I think, we'll get into the previews later, actually. I'll leave that comment for later. But yes, it is something. We do have the Lando comics well coming out, which I reported a couple episodes back. So it wouldn't surprise me if we get one or two others that tie into it. We have had a few for both Rogue One, Force Awakens, and Last Jedi. So again, it's quite the norm these days. And then we'll go on to Toy Shelf. Toy Shelf is going to be quite interesting this week because they've had quite a bit go up for the new Lego Star Wars sets.
Yeah, so the next wave of Lego Star Wars sets was announced. There are 4 of them leaked online a couple of days ago. And then the next day, it turned out there was some kind of, not a New York Toy Fair, but there was a press event for a toy fair for Lego. And 7 sets got announced for Star Wars. So we have the annual Advent calendar, which this year looks awful. We have the medical chain from Episode 5, which is really cool. You get a damaged Luke, Leia, and the medical droid. Anakin's starship from the prequels. I swear there's been about 7 or 8 of these Legos before. The only Episode 8 bit of Lego, Snoke's throne room, which is, if you like your minifigures, you're going to get Snoke, Rey, Ren, Praetorian Guards. That's a cool set. Not enough red bricks in the set, though. Luke's X-Wing was finally getting re-released. That'll be a big seller, I think.
Which I want quite badly.
it does look awesome, but you do wonder if they will do another UCS down the line, especially now they're in the Y-Wing and the Falcons, so fingers crossed. We have maybe the 2 most bizarre sets they're releasing. The Sandcrawler's getting a re-release, even though there's a fantastic set already out there. Which is it a UCS or was it just a really big
set?
In all honesty, the Sandcrawler they've announced 160 quid. The UCS is 220. You can double the bricks for 60 quid more. Not hard to do the maths. There's that, and there's the Imperial Landing Craft, which does not look like the Imperial Landing Craft. It looks awful. So a variety of sets. I was shocked that there was only that from Episode 8. But at the end of the day, there's not really any Episode 8 things they could do because there wasn't really any big spoilery moments that were hidden back. It was more just...
No, and also because of the closeness between 7 and 8, a lot of the 7 stuff is relevant to 8 anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. The biggest one, of course, was the BSF-17 bomber, and they have released that already.
And that was into the film for 20 seconds.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's all they really can do for Episode 8, and especially the solo film coming out. They've had solo sets to release. I'm sure in a couple of months they'll have some more solo Legos.
I haven't seen the Advent calendar. How come it's awful? What makes you say that?
They're actually, I mean, I'm not a humongous Christmas fan, but there's actually no Christmas Lego minifigures or anything stylized with Christmas, so you have a lot of people moaning.
Oh, that sucks.
And given the fact it's like 30 quid as usual, it doesn't look like before in the past. Like I'd say they're always expensive. They're good when you can get them at a good price.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I love my one with my Christmas Wookiee. That's awesome. But
yeah, exactly.
There's
nothing. And it defeats the purpose of an advent calendar.
Yeah, exactly. Where's my Christmas theme one? Damn it.
So
last year's was terrible in terms of they only had BB-8 with a Christmas hat, which was kind of like, okay, that's not much effort there. Compared to the year before where you had the Christmas Wookiee with a sleigh. Yeah, at least they kind of bumped up there.
But there's nothing. They've just got a load of like mini ships, like mini ships, and it's just kind of like, well, this could just be released as a set for kids. Like, have a little like birthday variety present, like 30 little daily sets. I don't know. It's just, it looks rubbish. And I wouldn't, if you're going to spend money. To be fair, none of these Legos impressed me by the X-Wing and Snoke's room. It's been Legos seem to be re-releasing a lot of their sets, which I've noticed recently. It's great, but it's also bad. The Y-Wing UCS looks amazing, but for the price compared to the one they released like a year ago, it's not value for money. But at the end of the day, they dropped the Falcon, which has been the biggest Lego, so they're sitting on their fortune. They know what they're doing. And I'm sure the next UCS post Y-Wing will probably be, I mean, they've done a Snow Speeder, they've done a Y-Wing, they've done the Falcon. It's time to re-release the X-Wing, and I think they probably will.
Indeed.
Unless they do Pose.
Ooh, Pose 270. They could do the Episode 8 version with the thruster as well.
And then it would match the modern Falcon, so they got 2 sets together. But that's kind of the Lego news. It's not. I mean, we do have some more toy stuff. It's not really toys. It's more cosplay. But for those that can buy Anavos stuff, you'll be shocked and amazed to hear they've got 2 things that have gone up for under $40. All it is a First Order insignia and an Imperial insignia, and you can only have them if you live in America.
Anavos, very expensive and very exclusive when it comes out.
Yes. It's like, oh, look, they've made 2 things affordable, but it's actually in transferable to get to another country. But they look cool, but you could probably get the same design for like 20 quid less on Etsy. But yeah, that's the Anova stuff, and it's been very quiet 2 weeks for Toy Shelf. But it just brings back to games, I guess we can say. The Battlefront 2 update is now live. The big update you've waited 6 months for.
Yeah, no, actually, I haven't played it because they've almost lost me as a player completely by now.
I played it a bit, and what I will say, the Jabba's Palace map is easily one of the best maps in the game. It's I thought it was going to be a clone of the Jabba's Palace from the last Battlefront game, but actually it's a lot more like the original Battlefront 2 Jabba's Palace. It's the actual inside of the palace, everything from the big door Luke walks into to the Rancor pits, even the little trap holes there, the dead Rancors there. You've got Han Solo not in carbonite. You've got the carbonite on the wall. There's just got the empty shell. The detail on the map is incredible and stunning. It's got the droid torture chamber. It's a fantastic map. However, it's not worth a 6-month wait. The character update, they've tamed nerfed a lot of characters. They've done, again, bugs that should have been done months ago. Made everyone more equal. They took some people that 2 OP powers off them and whatnot, balancing the usual gaming stuff. And the Han season the Han season started and no one cares. They've even announced that you're going to get anything for playing this season as well.
Yeah, it's something that they've lost me as a player on because they
lost a lot of people.
Released 2 lots of DLC that wasn't permanent and doesn't really do anything. It's I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate what they're doing with the Jabba's Palace map, and it's cool. I like the fact that they finally put in the Starship battles into the arcade mode. However, that's something you should have had from the beginning. That's not something that should have become an update. That's something that should have been done from the start. But they've also been playing purely because they've got the customization for the clone troopers. They're hiding stuff, and they're just not releasing it, and they're not taking care of the game, and they're not taking care of the players, and it infuriates me. It infuriates a lot of people. There's been a lot of backlash towards this game, and EA are not helping themselves with this release. It's good, but it's still very lackluster.
Yeah, it's been an absolute disappointment. I still like the game at launch, but they've slapped everyone in the face with the game since launch. Yes, it's good they fixed the XP and ranked up properly, but that should have been done before the game came out. Mm-hmm. So much so that after the beta and the reaction, they could have easily have actually just postponed the game launch for 6 months and done better PR for themselves. But nope, they've messed it all up themselves, and they've got themselves to blame. And when they lose that EA license, the Star Wars license, will be very interesting. I think Battlefront 3 will come out, and Battlefront 3 will be the game that Battlefront 1 should have been.
Yeah, Battlefront 3 will be the game that decides whether or not they get to keep the license. And the fans will be the ones that will be the telltale. You'll get the haters from the start. People like myself will give it that opportunity, but there will be caution. There will be, and you just know that they are the ones that put themselves in this hole as how they're going to dig themselves out of it. And maybe part of why they're being so lackluster is with Battlefront 2 is because they're working on Battlefront 3, and they want to put, hopefully, you're just thinking they're going to put their best effort into making Battlefront 3 the ultimate game so they keep their license and so they can treat their fans better. But with their track record, really don't know what that's going to be like.
It's too much of a rest down. They do a permanent celebration. I mean, you can mess up the first game and you can get away with fixing the second. And if you look at the reaction celebration last year, we're going to give out free DLC. Crowds cheering everywhere. The PR was perfect for Battlefront until that beta launched. Now, if they're going to run celebration, everyone's going to sit there and be like, well, you've messed it up twice, so why are we going to believe you now?
Exactly. I mean, yeah, everyone can forgive a first game because, well, that's their first shot. The second game, they should have had it right, and this third one, they shouldn't be using it to justify why they should keep the license, but unfortunately, that's what it's become.
Yeah, it's just become a mess.
It has indeed. However, again, I'll riff on this one. We've had more news, as I reported a couple of weeks ago. We've had X-Wing 2nd Edition announced with the conversion kit and the core set. The conversion kits got unboxed live by FFG on Friday last week, so on the 18th. I'm going to put a link to all of it on our Facebook page so that you can go and have a look for yourself. It's not going to take too long explaining it because it'll go over a few people's heads, and there's a lot of content in it. If you watch those videos, the stacks of the upgraded pilot cards are that thick. They're a good 2 or 3 inches thick per faction, let alone everything else they're going to put into it. So I'm not going to take too long. However, they have done some really cool bits and pieces. So as well as just showing you some of the generic ships and explaining more about what they put into the game, they've announced that Tarkin, Iden Versio, Cienari, and Grand Admiral Sloane are all going to be implemented for the Imperials. So that's taking characters, yes, from the films, but they're also taking characters from the games and from the books and putting it in there as well. You've got Nora Wexley now available on a Y-Wing, like she was the Battle of Endor, and Thane Kyrell, who was from Lost Stars. He's now in his X-Wing, like again he was in Lost Stars. So they've taken some notes from the canon and implemented it into the game, which is fantastic news for me because they've taken characters I love, like for example, Ida Versio. I think she's a fantastic character. I'm disappointed with how she was used in Battlefront 2 because I think there's more to that story. But to have her in the game is going to be quite cool. She'll be in her own Inferno Squadron TIE fighter. Having Grand Admiral Sloane, she's a character that's in. Well, she's such a big background character in the Star Laws part of this, with starting out in New Dawn, which is in the Rebels era, working through all the way through to the First Order. There's so much that she's done in the background in the books that to have her in the game is pretty damn cool. Again, Nora Wexley, if you don't know, she's the mother of Snap, Temin Wexley. She fought in a Y-Wing in the Battle of Endor. There's so much they've done that they're now implementing. The Scum faction, they're not done too many things with. They've got all the bounty hunters kind of lined up. You've got these new subtitles. So you've got, for example, you have measly portion distributor, I think it is, for on-card plot. So they're kind of going down that line and giving everyone. I mean, Han's new gunner abilities, so you can shoot first. It's brilliant. There's a lot more they've added into the game. It's something that I'm very much looking forward to. And when it does come out in September 13th, which is 4 months away, I will be doing a review of that. And I will be doing a competition soon as well, but I'm not ready to announce that yet because I need to work out those different things. But we will get onto that soon. And that is X-Wing. That is us for all of our regular content, I believe.
That is the main show, the main stuff. What we now have is our solo preview. Given that this isn't the caliber of episode 8, this was originally going to be a solo preview, but there are big news things happening, and with solo, there's not as much to digest as there was with episode 8, because at the end of the day, we know the ending. He's going to get the Millennium Falcon. Spoiler alert. But there are still stuff to talk about. There's a Star Wars film coming out in a day and 2 hours' time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know that Han will live. We know that Chewie will live. We know Lando will live. That's a given. How he'll get the Falcon is something that we kind of know, but we're going to see finally put on the screen. But the surrounding story, that's what's going to be interesting. What I was going to say earlier, but I'll say for now, I think the character I'm most interested to see is actually Paul Bettany's character.
Yeah, yes, because he was introduced very late into the story. We know that he replaced, I forgot the name of the actor, who was going to be the original gangster, but Paul Bettany's come in the last minute, and he's had a great time. We had Ron Howard steady the ship, but Paul Bettany, I think, is someone that I knew of him before Avengers. I think some people did, more British people from like sort of British films, stuff like that. He was great in Avengers, but it's going to be nice to see him in Human doing some other stuff. And I've never really seen him as a villain, which is going to make him more intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, he replaced Michael K. Williams when Ron Howard took over, purely because the schedules didn't align up, and they had to bring him in. However, from the trailers, he looks interesting. Yeah, I've never seen him more as a villain, but to see what he can do in that role, that's what's got me intrigued.
Yeah, and you know, ultimately, this trailer shows something that's going to happen with him, really cutting through stuff. And I mean, I think I know the end goal of him being there. I'm just excited to see Paul Bettany. Nothing else. The character, if he's great, but he's got weird scars. I don't need a backstory on everything like that. I just hope that he's there and has a villainous presence. And I think he'll be responsible for forming this team together to do a dangerous mission for him. So I'm just going to be intrigued to see that, to be fair.
Indeed,
in honesty, there's not.
Sorry,
I say in honesty, there's almost not to addition to the film because I'm looking forward to seeing it, but there's just I've got so little expectation or care going into it, where I'm at the point where I'm mainly watching this because it's a Star Wars film. So, you know, Last Jedi, I didn't have a plan in mind of what the film's going to be, but I spent weeks, months, years, even if you go back to episode 7, thinking what's going to happen. Whereas in this, it's just like, oh, the Star Wars film's coming out. So I've had a very not negative because I'm looking forward to seeing it. The more I hear, the better I think it could be. But again, I'm a day and a half away, and I couldn't care less. I'm even going to midnight screen. I'm going to morning screening. It's just hit a point where I just want to watch this film now, and I just want it to be good. And if it's, I think they've messed up the release date, putting it a month away from Avengers.
Yeah, it really should have been a Christmas release.
It's a week before Jurassic Park. It's a week after Deadpool. It's a month after Avengers. It's in a very clustered window. It's not going to have staying power. Last Jedi usually stays. Well, the December slot gives them about 6 weeks minimum of doing very well. 6 months can get anything to 10. If someone tells me that Solo's still going to be paying the cinemas in 6 weeks, I would give them 20 quid up right tomorrow morning. It's still very strange. I mean, fair play to them with the reshoots, everything. They've got everything in place. They've got the release date as expected. The CGI was probably going to look as good as it would have been anyway, because they were probably working on that before the directors were fired and whatnot. So I'm interested in that. And at the end of the day, it's another Ron Howard film, or I like Ron Howard as a filmmaker. But in honesty, I just want to see some good fun with some characters from the Star Wars universe.
Well,
Rogue One.
The only good thing, one good thing though about the drama is at the end of the day, it gives us a low expectation, which means it has a lot of room to improve. It has a lot of room to exceed that expectation.
Oh yeah, but I don't think that's a good thing.
I think so purely because Alden Ehrenreich from the start was the sticking point.
Yeah, I mean, when they cast him, I love Hail Caesar. That's a very good film if anyone's seen that. At the end of the day, it just goes back to the fact that no one asked for a Han Solo film. And to release the Han Solo film on the same month as an Avengers film, which the whole world's been waiting for a long time, they don't do themselves any favors. But Alden, I want to see. Sorry, for good things. I hope that he's. I mean, as long as he's not impersonating Harrison, it's great. If he gives his own take as an actor, then that's going to be absolutely fine with me. But at the end of the day, the MVP for me of this film is Donald Glover, as everyone has said. That got me interested from day one. Followed this kid when he was in Community, when he was doing comedy. Then he was the rapper Childish Gambino. Now he writes, directs, and stars in Atlanta, his own TV shows, which he's won Emmys. And for him to come and jump in a major blockbuster franchise like Star Wars is amazing. So I've been interested in this from day one. And of course, it's going to be great to see Chewbacca again and get a bit more of his on-screen chemistry with Han Solo.
Indeed. I mean, for me, Lando and Chewie are more of the selling points. Only because I want to see how Han and Chewie become Han and Chewie. That's the thing. Throughout episode 4, 5, and 6, going forward to 7 and 8, Han and Chewie, well, 7, not 8. Han and Chewie are this team. They are people that, when it comes in episode 4, you could tell they've been around for a while. You can tell that they've been through a lot together. See how they team up and how they become this dynamic duo. That's going to be a cool point to see. And also, how Han meets Lando, what happens to the Falcon. There are a lot of points in this film that will fill in a few gaps that I'm interested to see. Also, that I'm interested to see L337, Kira, the new characters, why they're there, what their purpose is, what will become of them. More of the Imperial side as well. I mean, we haven't touched on the Imperials in this so far, but with Han specifically, whether he will be an Imperial or not, like he was in the EU, I am very intrigued.
I don't know the answer, but I guess we'll know for that. In all honesty, I don't want any Imperials in this. I think we had Rogue One for that, getting the politics, Tarkin, Krennic, and whatnot. This is going to be the smugglers film. Obviously, there's going to be a presence of the Empire. We know that.
Well, the reason why I want to look in the Imperials is more so towards Kessel and towards the Falcon, because we had that line with Jabba. Even I have put it sometimes. Have that maybe losing that cargo. I mean, don't even know Jabba's. Doubt he will, but there is that possibility they end up on Tatooine at the end of the film.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be shocked if, to me, Jabba. I would be very surprised if he's not in the film. I fully expect him to be hiring Dryden Voss to be doing this for them, and Dryden will fail Jabba and die. I could easily see it. It's almost like the Rogue One. I said before Rogue One happened to everyone that I'm convinced that they're going to name drop Obi-Wan. It'll be Bail Organa, and he'll be talking to someone, and that exactly happened in that sentence. So it'll be something like that. I don't know. There's just something about this film where I don't know if I want to see it because it's Star Wars, if I want to see it to get it out of the way and to know I've seen it to make an opinion. It's ticking boxes, but then it's also crossing other boxes horrifically. For example, the character of Kira, Emilia Clarke is a terrible actress. Anyone seen Game of Thrones, you know exactly what I mean. She's not a good actress. She's wooden and stale. And the issue with her is that this happened in every film since. But because people like the dragons in Game of Thrones, they think that makes that she's an amazing character when she's not. And I don't want to get into a rant and be over the top and nasty and stuff, but every line of delivery in the trailers is exactly how it's been in Game of Thrones and everything else. It's just going to be wood and stale. So I'm literally just going in now for Lando and Chewie and to see a Star Wars film and to hope there's some really cool stuff. Nothing else is doing anything for me anymore.
I mean, the trailers and the behind-the-scenes featurettes have helped my hype. They've given me more interest in this, but it is the Star Wars film I've been the least excited to see.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I think it says a lot that not even me being opinionated, but I'm not going to a midnight screening of a Star Wars film. That's like the last 3 I've done midnights, booked ages in advance. I haven't booked my tickets yet. I know what screen I'm going to, and I thought about booking tickets. I went on this morning. Only 6 tickets have gone for showing at 11 a.m. at the IMAX. It's going to be, I don't know, like it's just. No one's really. I mean, it's going to be fine. It's just going to be fine. It's not going to be, to me. This is the way I'm thinking about this entire thing. Is I don't want to just find a Star Wars film. I want a great film. Rogue One, I had expectations, and Rogue One blew all of that. But Rogue One was an amazing story that could have been a Star Wars film. This feels like, I know it's a spin-off, but this feels like the spin-off of the spin-offs. And I don't think anyone asked this. And still, if you'd have told me 3 years ago there's going to be a Han Solo film, I wouldn't have cared. It's the day before, and I just don't care. If someone had said 3 years ago we're going to do a Lando film, different story, Chewbacca film, different story, Han Solo, we don't need to see him on screen. Harrison Ford is
Episode 4 is his origin story.
Yeah. And if you look at how he's progressed from 4 to 7, believing in the Force and all that stuff, that is an on-screen origin. You don't need anything else. But no, we're going to get his entire past in this film. Guaranteed.
It's because he's a fan favourite, and that's why they decided to do the film.
But the problem with making a film about a fan favourite is that they need to realise that most people who go to cinema aren't fans. It's the general audience that make the money. It's not fans. If you release a film just for hardcore fans, look at Justice League. Only the hardcore fans watch that film. That's 680 mil. And I think Star Wars is going to do similar figures to that. Lucasfilm should have released a film everyone wants to watch. You go to a casual film person who's interested in watching Solo, they're kind of like, oh, yes and no. Like, no one knows what they want from it. And I don't even think this appeases to the fans. This is appeasing to demographics within the fan base. But this film has been so split on people that it'll make fine money and the numbers will be fine and it'll make a profit and whatnot. But this is going to be the film where they distance themselves from. This is going to be like the Thor 2 of the Disney era of Star Wars, where it's just people are going to forget. And there's going to be some amazing stuff, and I'm going to get proven wrong, and I really hope I am. I hope it blows my mind away. But I've got so many reasons to be not giving you a damn about this film, and that's saying it nicely. But the biggest one is we had a Star Wars film come out 4 months ago. I'm all Star Wars style. I'm on a Marvel hype, and the world's on a Marvel hype. There's a dinosaur film out in 2 weeks. We had a Star Wars film 4 months ago. We had a dinosaur film for 3 years. It's just one of them where Lucasfilm have dug themselves their own hole for this. And the sooner they announce Kenobi, and I think one of the reasons they haven't announced Kenobi is because if they announce Kenobi, everyone will say, well, why didn't you do this instead of Solo? If they announce Kenobi, there will be a film coming out. If they announce it tonight, people will be more concerned about a film coming out in 2 years than they would in 2 days. And that's my entire opinion on the Solo film, which is really reflected. I've got no time for it. I'm just going to watch it and be done with it.
It's something I'm excited for, but it's not. It's the one I've been least excited for. It's a story that didn't need to be told, but I'm interested to see how it turns out. I mean, it is the one that Episode 8 divided opinions after it came out. This is dividing opinions before it comes out. That's the difference.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair way of putting it. It might unite people, but we just know that something's going to happen on Thursday. And let's be honest, Star Wars fans, you can't appease them all because there's always a small loud majority.
Well, yeah, this is the one important thing that everyone listening has to remember, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on iTunes or SoundCloud, okay, thank you for joining us. But there will be haters, there will be naysayers, there will be people who love it. Ignore all the noise. If you want to go and see the film, go and see the film, then make your opinion afterwards. Because unfortunately, when it comes to popular films like Star Wars or Marvel or DC, there will always be people that go in and spoil it, and there will always be people that go and hate it just because it's something to do and because they like winding people up. So we are fans. We are massive Star Wars fans. Hence why we do this show. We talk about Star Wars every other Wednesday. We met at Star Wars Celebration, and because we're nervous, because we are Star Wars fans, we want to see a good film. We want to see a good Star Wars story. But have your own opinion. Go and see it. Make your mind up. We want to enjoy it and we want to love it. We're not sure if we will, but that's what we'll find out tomorrow. Well, tomorrow evening for me, day after for George.
It
is one of those films where it's a story that intrigues me, but it's not one that anyone asked for.
Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. It's no one asked for it, and it's a shame because if it's great, but it's going to have that hanging over it there. This film was picked. We could have had another Rogue One. We could have had another film that no one would have thought they'd make about the Star Wars universe and be amazing. But instead they went easy, gave us Solo. But to be fair to them, I'll give them credit for going with Solo. Not the worst idea in Star Wars history, should have been a Yoda film. There was a lot worse they could have picked, and I get there's reasons for it, and I like Ron Howard, I like the cast, I like what they put together, and it's going to be fine. But I'm still there's going to be something that's just, I don't know. I don't want to be fatigued. I don't want to be. If I get that, that's going to be absolutely demoralizing to something I've been hyped for 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a year and a half later for episode 9. So they're going to need to fill that gap.
That year and a half gap will be good, though. For the film, that would be good.
It will be good in terms of building up hype for episode 9. There will be people that aren't fatigued. They've had a year and a half to have got ready for 9. The issue is there are some people that don't like any Disney film styles. Some people are just naturally not just hate Disney themselves, but they just haven't liked 7 or 8. And there's a very small amount that don't like Rogue One. But if you get 2 films that a lot of people seem to not like back to back, that's going to very much affect them. And the issue is the longer they aren't putting films out, the more power Marvel seem to have. The fact that Infinity War's almost on $2 billion now, and could don't think about it, could take Force Awakens in box office. That says a lot about the current economy of film itself and what's happening with the Star Wars franchise.
Well, I think the his name, the John Favreau TV show, along with Resistance, that will fill the gap nicely, especially for 9 with the Resistance part.
We don't know about either property. The TV show will work great. It's live action. TV is flourishing more than ever has. That will help itself. Star Wars Resistance, we've got to still wait upon. If it's going to be that awful anime 2D animation, then they've already lost themselves a humongous fan base. To turn around and say we're inspired by anime, that's just tragic. But we can't judge anything we've not seen as anything but a still from. But is it an animated show going to be enough to contain appetite for a franchise for a year? We don't know, but we need fingers crossed they will.
Indeed. Well, we also have Star Wars Celebration to look forward to, so we'll have hype. There will be hype available throughout the next year and a half, but I think the gap for the film will be good. Because usually I'll wait 2 years between films.
I think it'll be fine. That's what I think it'll be. But I don't want to find Star Wars film. I want a fucking excellent Star Wars film. Sorry.
Sorry, it's all on Channel 1. I'll forgive you for that one. Yes, Vine isn't good enough for Star Wars. Whether it'll exceed that or not, we will see. And it is that film that no one wanted. But if it's better than episode 2, then at least it's good. That's the only issue. If it's better than episode 2, at least it's good.
Give me awful or excellence, not the middle. It's going to become a meme, then it becomes a meme. But you don't want. I'm looking at the Marvel. Like, how many great MCU films are there? How many do you not care about? Do you want to have a Star Wars film come out that no one cares about? No. I love the talk that people get. I love the hate Star Wars films get. Just be something special. That's all I want it to be now.
Well, we are not that far away from finding out. It's either going to be amazing, it'll either be fine, or will be the Incredible Hulk of the Star Wars universe that no one will ever talk about.
Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. And the one character they get to cross will be Lando and saved in another canon. But yeah, that's our kind of half me ranty Star Wars solo Star Wars story.
It's a different preview than we've done before because unlike the others, we're not
doing a video just for it as well.
Yeah.
But that also says a lot about the actual solo film too.
Yeah.
But we'll know on Thursday. We'll be back with our spoiler-free review where we'll all be on. Dave's going to be on for that, so that will be very interesting. I think I'm seeing at 11 a.m, so I'll come out like mid-afternoon, so I'll be very fresh. And then I guess we'll all know our opinions from there on in. That's going to be very fun, especially given how the episode 8 videos went too.
Yeah, our review of episode 8 was interesting. I mean, Dave's opinions changed over time. He's softened up. If you go back and watch his original review, he slates it. Yeah, he's turned to love it. So it's very interesting if this film also has that effect, if it does endear people. It just depends on how the actual character of Solo is portrayed and how Ehrenreich carries it. That's going to be the key point to this film of its success. Because everything, you can have a great surrounding cast, but if your main doesn't fulfill its needs, that can let it down. And that's what will be. I think that's what this is hinging on for me personally, is what he does with that character.
Yeah, really something special with it.
Indeed, but I think that's everything we have for this evening.
Yes, that's our kind of new episode-ish. We'll be back obviously on Thursday, but we'll be back doing it to our normal Wednesday videos. So that's going to be coming. Technically, it'll be the week after next, but we will have a spoiler review some point next week, potentially the Wednesday. But we'll all know for sure on that as the time comes.
Yeah.
But this has been a very random episode of Ones of the Force. We'll have a lot more news. It'll be in our solo reviews, but box office numbers, figures, stuff to talk about there and then. And there will of course be Star Wars info from this Saturday, the Star Wars on stuff. So that we could have a humongous episode in 2 weeks' time. It could be a very small one. But of course, we'll be reporting stuff. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where we're updating stuff. New content's getting put out there, so follow us on there if you want some late news. If you can't wait for us to get on to chatting, so I think that's one thing worth saying. And thanks everyone for joining us. Because social media numbers are going up and up. Yeah,
I mean, we are sorry for our kind of. It's not a lackluster preview. It's a film that we do want to see. We're just nervous about it, and we don't know how it's going to perform. So you don't get our usual hype boots on for this one. We're not really kind of raring for it, but we will see. And yeah, I'm very excited. I'm actually more excited for a review on Thursday than I am for the actual film. What does that say about it? Exactly. So we shall see. We shall see. But yes, as George said, thank you so much for joining us. The social media numbers are going up. We're getting more and more interaction. We love that interaction. So if it's like, share, subscribe, comment. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and SoundCloud, and on iTunes. You'll find our audio version. So don't look at our mugs all the time, which I can imagine is quite sterling. We're friends, we get along with everyone else. Yeah, it's fine. But until then, yes, I think that's it. I don't think anything else to say. We're George, cracking. In which case, we've won the Force. May the Force be with you. Good night.